But I don't, and I never will. She's a she, no ifs, ands, or buts. Hey, it wasn't my idea to come here. Now, I don't believe in talking to strangers. And mira, I don't care how many degrees you got and that you're Latina, you're still a stranger. Lo siento mucho. Don't apologize for me. Mira, I mean no disrespect. Pero some things are holy for the eyes and ears of familia. And some things are for no one at all. Punto. It wasn't the first time I tried to take my own life. But it was the first time I got that close. Long before my daughter found me, or even before she was born, I tried sleeping pills. Estúpido que yo soy, I was downing them with shots of JD. On about the 5th, I got so dizzy and sick, I puked my guts out, passed out on the toilet. Woke up about 12 hours later. I looked and stank so bad. The thought of anybody finding me like that scared me into living. Until a few years later, when I got really depressed again. I was living in Lower East Side, New York City. I stood on the Brooklyn Bridge, and I almost jumped. But then I looked down and thought about how cold and filthy that water was. I couldn't bear to go like that in a sea of foam, no. Plus, what if I hit my head on something down there and survived? Probably be paraplegic. I couldn't live like that, no. I guess you could say I was trying to commit suicide all through high school and into my 20s. Drinking and drugging the way I did, that's through slow death. But that day, 2 years ago, with the razor to my skin, and I thought I wanted to go fast. I didn't think about anybody finding me then. I just wanted to end a lifetime of pain. To tell the truth, I freaked out. I saw the blood. And I just can't stand the sight of blood, especially my own. Plus it hurt, coño. So, even if my daughter hadn't found me, I would have called 911. Still, I had to stay in the hospital for about a month or so. Who saw me get my head together? And it worked. I started healing 40 years of wounds. I've been in therapy ever since. Even got my family to start going, imagínate. Oh, yeah. Mira, that's my daughter. My life. I thought having a child would make me feel like a woman, but having a girl freaked me out. What could I teach her when I didn't even want to be a girl myself? She's a really good kid, though. Valedictorian of her 8th grade class. So I must have done something right? Yeah, Maria Teresa Mendoza, after my mother. She's a really great mom. So is Cece. They've come to all my concerts. I've been singing in the chorus since 3rd grade. Cece's videotaped most of them. Friday nights is family night. We all get together and we cook and we watch movies. We take turns choosing the movie. I say watch, but it's really hard with those two. Especially Cece. I mean, we could be watching the most serious movie like The Reader, and she'll start cracking on Kate Winslet, cranking on her hair and how bad she looks without makeup. And then Mom will instigate. She'll make Cece go off on a tangent, start talking about the old days when she lived in the South Bronx and slept with a baseball bat under her bed, keeping mice away. Cece pretends to be tough, but she's really terrified of mice. We have a cat, and once he caught a mouse, and he dropped her right in front of her on the living room couch. She jumped so high I thought she was going to literally go through the roof. She wouldn't set foot in the living room until I got rid of it. She hasn't sat on that couch since, and that was 3 months ago. We're family. Even my dad's cool with it. He comes over Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve. We go over his place Easter, July 4th. I can't believe she's moving out. What are we going to do without her?
Moses parting the Red Sea. Everybody may wait for her and her partner. Una dominicana tan fea, Malta. Yeah, I was a little jealous, even though I'd never seen her before in my life. Pero I called her Checa Mia, even as she held Malta. Boy, I just knew that I wanted to be the woman in her arms on the dance floor and off, yo. She was so cool. The way she spun esa feita around, dipping and flipping, twirling and swirling, it was intoxicating going on. She was still being feminine. Her hair was so long and curly. How I used to love to run my fingers through her hair. And her tetas, so firm, round. How I used to love to touch and suck her tetas. Anyway, back to the night. She was perfect. Her body was perfect. She had on 5-inch heels, fuchsia with a matching backless spaghetti strap dress, slid up the right leg, showing off those gorgeous calf muscles. L'Oreal number 26 rum raisin, and her lips were more than ripe enough to kiss you. Anyway, back to that night. Call it divine intervention, pero on one of their spins, esa feita must have tripped over something. Or someone. And went flying into the table of hors d'oeuvres. Well, she wasn't mad at her, just embarrassed and covered in hot wings and blue cheese. So while esta feita ran off to the ladies' room, I made my move. I went right up to her and I said, Nena, you're ashamed to waste a good song. Vamos a bailar. And she said, Lo siento, but I've got to help my friend. And turned to follow esta feita into the bathroom. I reached out, squeezed her hand and said, when you finish with her, let me take you home. She looked me in the eye and said, I came with one date, and I'm leaving with the same. I was pissed! But that shit impressed me, yo. I feel strange without my husband here. I know you said it would be good for us both to see you separately, but we go everywhere together, especially since we retired. He's a good man, a very good man. Never went to college, but worked 45 years for the same company. A wonderful husband and father. He loves his children. It's true. Lo siento. No, está bien, está bien. Gracias. I volunteer at a soup kitchen once a week, and
I made friends with another volunteer there. She was the saddest person I ever seen. I looked into her eyes and I wanted to cry. Her eyes, they filled with darkness, endless suffering. One day she told me her story. She was divorced. They had a girl, 9 years old, who she said always wanted to be a boy. She dressed in boys' clothes and dreamed of playing short stuff for the Yankees. The girl was visiting her father when she drowned in his swimming pool. Misterioso, porque there were other children there. The mother heard there were other children there, but she was the only one to drown. She wore a boy's bathing suit. The father did not shed a tear. Neither did the stepmother or any of the other children who were there. Only the mother cried and still cries. How could the father not cry for his child? I spent my whole life trying to give my family the things I never had. My wife and he, we were born in Puerto Rico, but it was tough. No jobs, no opportunities like here in los Estados Unidos. We did without it. We did not want our children to go through what we went through. Huh? That's why I moved my family from Puerto Rico to the Bronx to Connecticut. Wanted to make sure Millie started school here. Wanted my family to have a better life, land, fresh air, nature. Como el campo. My wife too, she worked just as hard. Taking care of other people's children, cleaning other people's houses, sewing, whatever she could to help out. We finally saved enough money, retired, got a little place in Puerto Rico near the beach. I got my eye on a fishing boat. Oh, I love to fish. This is supposed to be the good years. But now, she says she doesn't want to go. Nah, can't leave our children at this difficult time. They are grown with children of their own. Now it's our time. That night of the accident, I cried. Not because of the 37 stitches, but because Mommy and Papi would never let me hang out with her again. And all these years later, whenever I remember that night, I don't think about the scar. You can hardly see it. I think about how maybe that was when I started to lose her. How we all did. That's my sister. She says you can hardly see it, but every time I look at her and I see that scar, and I want to cry. The one I put there. I didn't literally, but I might as well have. All my life I felt like I should have set the example for her, protected her because I'm older. But I think she ended up setting the example for me. I mean, I know it's been hard, really rough on her, but she's managed to be there for me, defending me to our parents, teachers, neighbors, and everyone. I love her so much. But I'm scared this may be too much for her to deal with. I'm scared I may lose her. What am I supposed to tell my husband and children? That Aunt Millie is suddenly Uncle Joaquin? I mean, Dan, my husband, has always gotten along well with my sister. But he was raised a staunch Catholic, and we're raising our children the same. It took him long enough to get used to the idea that she's a lesbian. Was a lesbian. We haven't even told the children she's gay. Was gay. They're too young, they wouldn't understand. 9 and 11. Things like this just don't happen in Redding Ridge. Well, not to someone like Millie. She doesn't look the type. Well, she didn't used to. I chose the name Joaquin because I knew this boy in Soundview named Joaquin. He had a beautiful face. He was so sweet and gentle. Once I didn't have enough money for Mr. Softy. He brought me a vanilla cone with rainbow sprinkles. I didn't really like sprinkles, but I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So sweet and gentle, and there's something so elegant about the way he moved, but not like a papa. Oh, the way he zigzagged and popped wheelies around the block on his bike with the speed and grace of Evel Knievel. Well, he epitomized cool. Nah, I didn't want to get with him. I wanted to be him. But we moved from the Bronx to Redding Ridge, Connecticut, and I never saw him again. But I remembered that face. After a few years, the heels and dresses started to disappear. She said she was having back problems. So I thought, well, they say your back starts to go in your 40s. I didn't think much of it. I mean, she was still femme in every other way. Well, most ways. I mean, she did start becoming a little butcher and butcher. So she was butcher than me, Corneo. And then one day, I caught her packing. Not her bags, packing. I mean, I always knew she liked to lead on the dance floor and in bed sometimes, and you know, I didn't really care about that because she was so fucking gorgeous and hot and bien femme, bien femme. I let her do anything to me, tú sabes. But when she started packing, I was like, yo, Millie, what the fuck? Then she told me how she really felt. And I asked her, how could she be so femme all her life? I mean, I seen pictures of her from when she was a baby, yo. Her mother had her dressed like a fucking ballerina, yo. And she said she only did it to please her parents and her daughter and me. Growing up, Friday nights was girls' night. Our parents would go bowling, we'd stay home, get a pizza, and be girls. She gave the best manicures, so thorough and artistic. She never let me paint her nails anything but clear, but she let me experiment with her hair. She had such long, beautiful hair, all the way down to her hips, and naturally wavy. I could do so much with it. French braids, French twists, big perms with long, loose curls. I had long hair too, but it was too curly, what Mommy called pelo malo. Had to use an iron to straighten it out. But Millie's hair was perfect. Cutting my hair was the first step toward freedom. I was going for the Ricky Martin look. Well, I'm sorry. Mommy and Esperanza were closet Menudo fans, so I thought they'd like it. Everyone freaked out. They were just so used to seeing me as a woman. But they didn't know whenever I was home alone, I would try to flatten my breasts as much as possible. I'd wrap ace bandages all the way around. I'd dress in men's clothes. Pull my hair all the way back. Paint on a mustache. And sideburns with black eyeliner pencil. I'd look in the mirror and feel so happy and free. But then my daughter was home, or I had to go to my parents, or somewhere I had to put the femme costume back on. A lifetime of hiding. It was killing me. I finally had to let my family see me as I saw myself. I mean, I loved them so much, but I had to let them see me as a man. Cece, my girlfriend of 7 years, dumped me. She still doesn't understand that changing my gender doesn't change how much I still love and desire her, how much I still need her. Papi stopped speaking to me. For a long time, he couldn't even look at me. Mommy and Esperanza looked at me, but always seemed teary-eyed. And I don't know why. It's not like I was going to suddenly start scratching my balls and watching ESPN 24/7. I mean, I watched, yes. So did they. We come from a long line of Yankee fans. Tú sabes, I was the first girl to integrate Little League in my family. In my town. What a disaster that was. Well, tough enough being the only Puerto Ricans in town, but the only girl in Little League? Way worse. The boys hated me for making them play with a girl. The girls taunted me for wanting to play with the boys. Everybody thought I was a freak, except Papi. When I told him I wanted to join, he didn't bat an eye. Took me to the community center, signed me up, drove me all around the block, helping me sell my candy for the uniform fee. He came to every game. So why can't he speak to me now? I don't know what to say to her now. What can I possibly say to my daughter who doesn't want to be my daughter, huh? We were so close when she was little. We went clamming. Oh, her mother and sister couldn't stand the sight of clams, but Millie wasn't afraid to dig in with her bare hands, huh? I taught her how to pitch when she was 4. Hey, girl! Hey! ¡Qué bueno! ¡Ay, ay! Hey, girl! By the time she was 11, she had a fastball to make your head spin. If the majors had allowed girls, she would have gotten in, claro que sí. We did everything together. She was Daddy's little girl. Then, she became a teenager, and everything changed. I did. I lost her.